One man has been charged with second-degree murder, and the Crown has recommended charges against two others after an assault victim died in hospital yesterday. On Wednesday, May 23, 2012, at approximately 11 p.m., emergency responders were called to the 1500 block of 6th Street Southwest, where they discovered a man in his 40s who had been assaulted. The man was transported to a local hospital in life-threatening condition, where he was being treated for his injuries. 3 people were later arrested and charged with aggravated assault. These charges were then upgraded to attempted murder. Charged were Garrett Elliott Lee Smith, 26, Jared Donald Henry, 22, and Chantel Tiffany Campbell, 27, all of Calgary. Yesterday morning, Wednesday, September 12, 2012, the victim, John Fernando Herrera-Garcia, 49, of Calgary, died in hospital. His death is now classified as a homicide, the 10th of 2012. In consultation with the Crown, Smith was arrested at his home yesterday evening and charged with second-degree murder. The other 2 individuals have not been released from custody since their original charges. And I'll take your questions.
Can you explain how it works with the other 2 that are in custody, like how?
They will be brought forward before a judge and read the charges.
For clarification, it is second degree being contemplated for them as well?
Yes, second degree, yes.
Do you know when that will happen?
I haven't, I don't have the date at this time, but I think we can update you once we get it.
Like, will it be today?
I don't think so. Mr. Smith was put over until September 19th.
Any reaction from him, or were they kind of expecting this?
He was cooperative with our investigators when arrested last night.
So, all along you said this has been random, unprovoked, for the most part. Do you have any sense more about what happened?
Other than commenting that it was a random incident, no, I can't provide any further details. It's currently before the courts now.
Can you speak at all just to, we just heard from the family and they're obviously very forgiving and very outgoing in the sense of willing to speak and helping you guys best they can. Just talk to the fact that it doesn't really necessarily happen in a lot of your investigations, does it?
It doesn't, but in this case, the family were very involved in the investigation and with our investigators. And I think the unusual circumstance in this that the victim survived the initial attack. So it was an ongoing investigation up to the point where the victim passed away yesterday. So our victims were continually in contact with the victim's family, getting updates on his condition, answering questions about processes and where the investigation is at. So I think because of the nature of the victim's injuries and the fact that he survived after the initial attack, led our investigators to become very involved with the family. Okay.
My name is Mireya Herrera, and I'm John's sister-in-law. This has obviously has been a very difficult time for our family. We want to take this opportunity to recognize those who have helped us since the incident occurred in May. Our heartfelt gratitude goes to the Calgarians, the Colombian community, and the Latino community at large, who have shown unwavering and unconditional support to our family. We cannot thank you enough, and words cannot express the gratitude that we feel. At this time, our hope from all of our family is that we find peace and acceptance. Thank you.
So just, maybe I'll ask you questions and then we'll address it to you guys. Just want to step onto the mic.
Jay's to this.
Someone want to go first?
I'll go first.
Can you just talk about your dad? We obviously just want to hear a little bit about.
Well, he was an excellent father. That's pretty much what I think of him. Like for me, he was pretty much because I live away from home now. I go to university in another city. So whenever I had time, I had the time to spend with him, or a time to spend with him, it will be a privilege for me. I will feel like it was a privilege to get to spend that time with him. He was a really loving father, and for me personally, he, for some reason, he always knew my needs, even though he was so far from me. He always knew what to tell me. He always understood, and I could say he was pretty much the only person who did, like, not understood me, but he had this ability to know what I needed and what I needed to do. And well, other than that, he was an adventurer. He left his country. He traveled. He always tried to show us that the importance of taking risks and well, learning from the different experiences of life, give us a diversity of knowledge so we could make better decisions. What else? He's really smart man. In fact, I've never met anyone as smart as him. Well, right now I'm in university, so even then, like, I could say, we never beat him at chess or any of those games because he was just too good. Even though we played with him, I never really saw anyone beating him. What else is there to say? He was really supportive with whatever we wanted to do. For me personally, I play soccer, and he was always there to bring me to every practice. If I could do a trip, like I was going to Brazil once, and he was just have to pay for it, for me to have the whole experience. I also went I wanted to go back to Colombia for certain period of time. I gave him good reasons, and he supported me in that decision I made, and he made all the arrangements, and he's always there. He was always there, present for me, and for my brother, my sister. But well,
How do you describe the last 4 months?
they've been really difficult. They've been extremely, like, odd in the sense that you want to look up to something, and it's just hard, like, because there is more uncertainty now that he's not there, because, well, I'm only 21 years old, and I only know so much, and he was the one that kind of guided me when I had doubts. And well, so these 4 months it have been a struggle between, well, what's coming next, what's my life gonna be like, and well, as for my dad, it's just really tough. But like, you don't even know what to make up from the situation. You don't even know how to react, and if you are reacting properly, like, it's just the fact that you picture these situations, but they never happen like how you picture them, because obviously they're much more complex than that, and it's just a mixture of feelings, and it depends on how you feel certain day, and I don't know, it's just, you just go kind of up and down in your mood, and in the way you think of these things, Sometimes you get reminded of him, and then, well, it's sad, but I guess the life keeps going, and that was one of his messages. My grandma passed away 3 months ago, and the main takeaway message was, life keeps going, the world keeps running, and the fact is, what we want to do is make him proud, and that's how we see, well, our future, and that's how we saw those 4 months was kind of like a message for you, well, for us to to step up, to do those things that we wanted to do, you know, and to make him proud too. So, I don't know, any other questions?
What do you, I know it's a tough time, but just thinking about the people who are now charged with his death, do you have anything to say to that?
I personally don't, seriously, since the start of this, since this started in May, I have seriously not, well, not to be rude or anything, but I have not cared at all about them, simply because who am I to judge, you know? And I don't know what the circumstances they were raised in. I don't know anything about them, but all I care about was my dad's health, and that's how I saw it since the beginning. Whatever happened to them, that's not my problem. That's not my issue. Every time it was brought to me, I never really spent time at all thinking about it. So if you ask me that questions, I will be just speculating. I will just be making an answer right now because I've never really given it much thought.
Do you feel angry that this happened?
Well, it's not. You obviously feel like in a way it's unfair, you know. But I mean, you also get that these things happen in life, you know. And I, as far as being angry, well, it's more like depraved of the how do you call that, the privilege of having a father, you know, like being with him, especially when you are at this age where like your life is kind of like you are deciding what to do with your life, you know. And there are so many, the real world kind of hits you once you get to university, and you need, well, support. So it's kind of that more than angry. I don't feel anger per se. It's just kind of, you accept facts and then you move on. You see from there. There's no point on thinking back and saying, well, could have been there, this could have happened, you know. It's nice to think about those things, but the fact is, that situation happened, and you just gotta move on from there. There is no point of feeling anger towards them. There is no point for that at all, because that's not gonna change any of the facts. You gotta keep positive, and you gotta, well, in my perspective, gotta make my dad proud, be tied with the family, you know, and just do good in life.
Can I ask you a bit more detail about your family? When did you move to Calgary?
We moved in 2006. 2006 August, actually. So we just completed our 6th year in Canada. Yeah. I don't know what else.
And how many children?
We are 5. We're 5, but we only us 3 moved to Canada first, and my little sisters were in the U.S. But well, that's as much as I want to say about that.
Where the three of you live now?
Yeah, well, I lived in Montreal. I go to university there. My sister Laura, she lives in Vancouver, and my brother, as of right now, he's living in Calgary.
And is your mom planning to stay here? Or does she live in Calgary?
My mom lives here, and she's planning to stay here. And well,
And can you talk to us a bit about how she's feeling?
well, who am I to say? I don't know how she's feel. It's hard to tell, you know. Yeah, I'm talking. You ask me about myself, I'll talk, but about anyone else, it's just hard for me to speculate.
Can you say, like, obviously it's been difficult the whole time, you've seen your dad the way he was. I mean, because yesterday, does it give you some closure? Does that, because it's been obviously very difficult for you to watch him like that.
In a way, it does, because, well, yeah, it's been a struggle, you know, and it's been, as I said, you don't know what's gonna happen, you don't know what's coming, and in a way you feel at peace that he's at peace, I guess, that he's not suffering anymore. But other than that, well, you know, you see things coming, so it's not like, oh, I'm gonna feel closure once this is over. It's more like, well, you saw it coming, and then you just don't make much of it, you know. It's just, you because it's a build-up, so you already know. It's not like, oh, it happened and then you have a different reaction. You will kind of already come into it. Well, about that, what you just asked, I was there sleeping right next to my dad when he passed away. And the first thought that I had when I woke up and saw that it was almost his last breath, I woke up to almost his last breath. The first thing that came to mind is that now he's gonna be able to rest in peace. That there's nothing we could have done that would have brought him back. So you can't really keep somebody if they're not gonna have any quality of life. So I think that's the best thing was done for him, and it was very sad for me, but at the same time it was something that not closure, but mostly like feeling good that he went to a better place.
Do you want to talk about some of the things like that you remember, have the best memories of him?
There's so many, but I guess a really good one is that my dad didn't really like dogs, but one day when I got off the bus, I was on the second grade, and he said, "Oh, come on now, I'll come and introduce you to some friends." And then he went and pointed at a desk, and I was like, okay, so what's he talking about? And then I went under, and there was a little puppy there, and even though he didn't like it, he bought it for us. So, and then the other thing is that he was always pushing for knowledge. He was always telling me we have to keep learning, keep being curious about everything, because if you get stuck, then there's no point on having a quality of life if you get stuck on what you know. And if you feel comfortable with what you know, you shouldn't be. You should be always looking for more.
If there's any questions,
Any questions before we wrap up? If you just wanted to say something about your dad, we'd love to hear just anything you wanted to say about him, some memory or something would be really nice.
so no questions.
Maybe just talk about the support you got from the community as well, and family, friends, that kind of situation.
Okay, obviously we've had a lot of support from different people, not only the Calgary community, but people outside as well. And I just wanted to say that I miss my dad. I wish I could laugh with him again, hug him, be in the car with him. But at the same time, even though I'm sad, I feel it gives me comfort to know that he's not suffering anymore, that his body is not physically in pain anymore, and that he's in a better place with the ones that have gone before him, his parents, and just to know that he's at peace right now gives me peace as well. But I do miss him a lot. He was a support, a friend. He was always try to be the best that he could be, and he was the most intelligent person I've ever met.
Laura, David said he didn't see the point in feeling anger towards those responsible. There's people in the community that feel anger and that they're fortunate enough to meet your father. Do you share the same?
I share my own feelings. I don't share anybody else's feelings. I don't feel hatred towards anyone, even from what they did. I don't feel hatred. I think everybody chooses their own path, and if these people chose to go that way, I mean, again, who am I to judge? And I am sad, but I'm mostly sad to see the people I love, you know, cry or be really sad and not want to, you know, do, because we were helpless. Just seeing my dad in this condition, there's not much you can do. All you can do is wait, and it's not easy to see, you know, my mom or Louise, David, anyone that is closest to me cry. I think that's the hardest thing for me, because I think I have gotten support because I am the youngest, or one of the youngest. I've gotten support from the older members of the family, but I think sometimes I wonder if they have someone who's going to give them that support that I'm getting, and so I worry about them. But other than that, those other people, don't worry. I don't worry about them at all.
Laura, so was it the 5 of you that moved to Canada in 2006? Like you 3 and your mom and your dad?
Yeah, so my dad, yeah.
And then he has 2 other daughters as well, is that right? Yes.
Yes.
It's a blended family, so we have a first marriage and a second marriage. In the first marriage, we have the 3 older children, and in the younger marriage, there's 2 younger daughters. So they're in college, and the other ones are in grade school. So it's just a second marriage.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.